Okay, so today we're getting into a story that, honestly, it's pretty disturbing. It's a first-hand account from a junior partner, a lawyer in Chicago. He thinks he's walking into just, a standard divorce meeting.
Right. Just another case file.
Exactly. But it turns out to be something else entirely. The way he starts it is just, wow. He says, the man sitting across from me was supposed to be the victim. But 5 minutes into the meeting, I realized I was the one being hunted.
Whoa. Okay. That's quite an opening. Talk about a power shift right off the bat.
Right. So the setup is Madison Reynolds wants a divorce from her husband, Jonathan. He's described as this sort of semi-retired finance guy.
Yeah.
Almost forgettable, apparently.
Yeah, that's interesting. That detail, him being not very memorable, that feels intentional, especially given what comes next. Sets up a kind of false normalcy,
Totally. And our viewpoint, the lawyer, Jack Well, Jonathan calls him Jack, which is kind of pointed in itself. He's there for Madison, but things feel off almost immediately. Well, they seem well off, right? But Jonathan apparently has 0 assets listed. Nothing. No house, no car, no bank accounts, investments, nothing.
Okay, yeah. In a divorce, that's a huge red flag. Like, blinking neon sign red flag, where's the money?
Exactly. My first thought would be hiding assets, obviously.
Sure, that's standard divorce tactics sometimes. But given the opening line, feels like maybe it's more than just hiding cash. Maybe it's about, erasing himself.
Ooh, that's a chilling thought. In the meeting itself, it just gets weirder. Jonathan's late.
Okay.
And then he shows up dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Super expensive suit. Which clashes, with the whole no assets thing.
Right. Contradiction number 1.
And his vibe,
Huh?
it's described as unnervingly calm.
Right.
And get this, he barely blinks.
Oh, okay, that's creepy. That's like movie villain creepy. Lack of blinking is never a good sign.
Never. And his voice, apparently quiet, but it just commanded the room. He just says, "You must be Jack." Not a question, a statement.
Like he already knew everything, knows who Jack is, maybe more. Just asserting control from the first word.
Yeah. So Jack starts asking the usual questions.
Yeah.
Financial disclosures, where are the assets?
What does Jonathan say?
This is where it gets almost comical, if it wasn't so unsettling. The big fancy house, oh, that belongs to a friend.
Right, a friend, huh?
The 14 luxury cars.
14, okay, now that's just excessive.
Right. He says they're registered to companies. He just, quote, takes care of them.
Takes care of 14 cars. And a mansion. Who is this guy?
And then he uses the same phrase
Yeah.
about his wife, that he's just a caretaker for her, too.
Whoa. Okay, that's darker. That reframes the whole relationship, doesn't it? It's not about assets anymore. It's about possession control.
Exactly. It's this weird deflection, trying to seem like he has no connection to anything tangible. But the way he says it, it's audacious.
It really is. He's either completely delusional or, more likely, he's playing a game. Daring Jack to call him out on the absurdity.
Then there's this moment. The calm cracks. Just a little. Jonathan kind of mutters, "And I thought she loved me. Turns out we were both wrong."
Is that genuine? Or is it like a performance? Baiting Jack somehow.
Hard to tell initially, right? It sounds almost vulnerable. But knowing where this is going,
Yeah.
it sounds more like a threat, like she was wrong to cross me and you're wrong to be involved.
Yeah, that lands differently in hindsight. Very ominous.
So Jack presses him on the 14 cars. I mean, come on, 14 cars doesn't match no income.
Not even close. That's millionaire lifestyle stuff.
And Jonathan just looks at him and says, "A lot of things don't add up, Jack." And the way he says Jack's name, the account says it was like it was a punchline.
Oof. Okay, the mask is slipping. He's not even trying to pretend anymore. He's basically saying, yeah, it's all messed up, and what are you going to do about it? Mocking him.
Precisely. And that's when it gets explicit. Jonathan just leans in and says, basically, take a vacation, Jack.
Just like that, out of nowhere.
Yeah, a long one. Not a week, not 2, think months.
Whoa. Okay, that's not advice. That's a threat.
Absolutely. And then he drops the analogy. Sometimes the cat plays with the mouse for a while before... Well,
Yeah.
he spells it out. Jack is the mouse.
Oh my God. So it's not just about the divorce anymore. Jack's personally in danger.
And then the kicker, Jonathan says this isn't really about Madison. It's about Jack's boss, Tom Grease.
The boss? Why the boss? What's his connection?
We find out later the boss Tom, was having an affair with Madison.
Ah, okay. So revenge plot thickening. Maybe the divorce was just the entry point.
Seems like it. And just as Jack is maybe thinking, okay, how do I handle this? Maybe I can record this.
Yeah.
Jonathan casually reveals he has an audio scrambling device running. He knew Jack might try. He's steps ahead.
Prepared. Wow, this guy is something else.
And-
Organized.
And the absolute checkmate move, he pulls out a document.
What is it?
It's a death certificate for Jonathan Reynolds. Legally dated 6 months ago.
Wait, what he literally dead?
Legally dead. He slides it across the table, basically says, how can Madison divorce a dead man? How can you make claims against someone who doesn't exist?
That's insane. How do you even respond to that? It completely nullifies everything.
Total psychological blow. Jack's just reeling. And Jonathan, still calm, says Jack's boss, Tom, has 12 hours. Doesn't say for what, just 12 hours.
An ultimatum.
Yeah. And then he just leaves, gets up, walks out, leaving Jack sitting there with this impossible situation, this ghost who just threatened his life and his boss's life.
Unbelievable. What does Jack do? He has to warn his boss.
He does. He rushes back, tries to explain, tells Tom about the meeting, the threats, the death certificate.
And Tom believes him.
Nope. Tom completely blows him off, thinks Jack is exaggerating, maybe stressed, basically tells him to get a grip. Doesn't believe the death certificate thing for a second.
Oh, no. Especially if Tom is involved with Madison. He's dismissing a potentially lethal threat.
Exactly. And then Madison herself shows up at the law office.
Madison, what does she say?
She's terrified.
Yeah.
Shaking. Says Jonathan wasn't supposed to be alive. She talks about a deal they had, that they helped stage his death.
They. Who's they?
She doesn't say. Just that if Jonathan finds out she's involved, she's dead. She's clearly panicked.
So she knew he wasn't really dead, or she thought the deal was permanent. This is getting complicated and dangerous.
Very. Jack starts noticing things. Cars parked outside his apartment for hours. Calls from blocked numbers that hang up. One time, he comes home, and his apartment door is just slightly ajar. Nothing taken, just open.
Oh, psychological warfare, making him feel watched, hunted like the mouse.
Exactly. And then the boss, Tom Greaves, he disappears.
Oh, God. After the ultimatum ran out.
Looks like it. Police go to his house, big, expensive place. The front door is shattered. Inside, silence, eerie silence. And on the table, there's an envelope. Inside is a single photograph.
What's the photo?
It's Tom, tied to a chair, clearly dead. And underneath the photo, one word written. Mouse.
Jesus. He wasn't bluffing. He actually did it. The cat got the mouse.
Yeah, and Jack must be losing his mind at this point.
I would be. The police must be involved now, right? With
Yeah.
the murder.
They are, but
Yeah.
it gets worse for Jack. His phone rings. Unknown number.
It's him, isn't it?
It's Jonathan.
Oh.
Calm as ever. Knows Jack's name, knows his number. He says the ultimatum for Madison is now 6 hours. And then adds, you're out of time too, Jack.
He's coming for Jack next.
Yeah?
Or using Madison to trap him.
Oh, man. Jack finds Madison hiding in a hotel. She's desperate, trying to flee the country. She confirms that Jonathan doesn't bluff. Ever.
Does she explain who he is? What the deal was?
She does. She tells Jack that Jonathan Reynolds isn't just some finance guy. He's the person governments, cartels, powerful CEOs. They called him when nothing else worked. A fixer, a cleaner, someone who, quote, knew where the bodies were buried because he buried some of them.
Holy, so he's basically a ghost, a deniable operator. The staged death makes sense now. It wasn't just about divorce assets.
It was about disappearing completely. And now he's back. And Madison says he's not after a divorce settlement. He's after revenge. Systematically targeting everyone connected to her, everyone who knew about the deal, maybe.
Including the boss, Tom, and now presumably Madison and Jack, because he didn't walk away.
Madison even tells Jack something chilling. She says Jonathan leaving Jack alive after that first meeting, telling him to take a vacation. He's warning you.
Yeah.
That's his kindness.
Some kindness. Okay, so Madison flees. Does Jack help her?
He does. Gets her to the airport. She gets away. Or seems to. Jack thinks maybe, just maybe, it's over.
But it's probably not, right, with this guy.
Not even close. A few days later, a postcard arrives at Jack's apartment. No return address. Just 2 words. Not yet.
Ugh. He's toying with him.
Then another one a week later. Soon.
This is relentless. Can Jack go to the police with any of this? The photo of Tom, the postcards.
He tries, but Jonathan Reynolds is legally dead. The police report on Tom's murder mentions suspects, but nothing concrete points to a dead man. They basically look at Jack like he's crazy or making it up. The death certificate trumps everything. He's completely isolated.
No legal recourse, no protection. Just wait.
He knows he has to run. He's driving home one night, paranoid, checking his mirrors. And sure enough, headlights appear. A car tailing him.
Oh man, here we go.
He tries to lose it. Weaving through traffic, takes sharp turns, but the car stays right with him, relentless. He eventually manages to shake it, pulls into a random motel miles away, pays cash.
Smart move. Lay low.
He gets into the room, locks the door, heart pounding. Thinks maybe he's safe for the night. Then he sees it, slipped under the door. Another postcard.
No.
What does it
It's
say?
a TikTok.
He knew where he was going, or he's everywhere. This is terrifying. Escape seems impossible.
He gets one last call from Madison. It's brief, frantic. She just says, "He found me." Jack asks where she is, tries to help, but then he hears Jonathan's voice on the line.
Oh, God. What does Jonathan say?
Jonathan just says, referencing Jack trying to help her, "That's the problem, Jack," and the line goes dead.
So Madison is gone or captured. The ambiguity is almost worse. We don't know for sure. Jack knows he can't stay. He completely drops off the grid, changes his name, moves across the country, ends up living this isolated life in rural Montana. Years go by. He's constantly looking over his shoulder, hears noises that aren't there. The claws he imagined earlier.
Living in constant fear. That's a prison in itself.
Until one day, he's in a diner. Middle of nowhere, hundreds of miles from Chicago, years later. He looks up,
Don't say it.
and Jonathan Reynolds sitting in the booth across from him, calmly sipping coffee.
No. How? After all that time?
Jonathan just smiles slightly. Says, "You're hard to find, Jack. Took me longer than usual."
I have chills. What does he want now? Why show up after all this time?
Jack asks him why. Why hunt him down after so long? Jonathan's answer is cold. "You made it personal." He says, "You were supposed to walk away. You didn't."
Because he tried to help Madison. Because he didn't take the vacation.
Seems so. Jonathan slides another photo across the table.
Not Madison.
It is Madison. But she looks peaceful. Maybe drugged. Sitting in a chair, looking blankly ahead, Jonathan says, "She's not dead yet."
He's still using her, still controlling everything. Why? What's the point of all this?
Jonathan explains. Because sometimes people forget who they're dealing with. Sometimes they need to remember. It's about reputation, about control, about making sure no one ever crosses him or forgets his reach.
What's pure psychopathy? Absolute need for control.
And then, the final twist. He tells Jack he gets to live.
What? Why?
On one condition, Jack disappears. For good this time. Never speaks of Jonathan, Madison, Tom, any of it, ever again. He frames it as a lesson learned.
A life sentence of silence and fear.
Pretty much. And as Jonathan gets up to leave, he delivers one last line, just ice cold. "And next time, Jack, you don't see me coming." But he just walks out of the diner.
Wow. So Jack survives, but he's forever haunted, forever looking over his shoulder, knowing that Jonathan could be anywhere, could reappear at any time.
Exactly. The story ends with that feeling. Years later, he still feels watched. Still imagines those claws. The terror never really leaves.
What a chilling narrative. It really sticks with you. The idea of someone operating completely outside the rules, someone who can just erase themselves and others, terrifying.
It really is. Makes you wonder who else might be out there pulling strings from the shadows. Like the story, subscribe and leave a like before he finds you too.